What's up, friends? I'm Jonathan Miller, and welcome back to Jonathan Miller Music, where we help each other become better artists. Why is Taylor Swift's 12th studio album era, The Life of a Showgirl, the color orange? If it's supposed to be orange, why does she use the fire heart emoji when the orange one is sitting right there available to use? If you're new to the series, today we're taking a look at The Life of a Showgirl to figure out why this era's associated color is orange, what that color symbolizes, and why its symbolism is significant to the album, its content, its promotions, to figure out why it all makes sense from a marketing perspective. This is the 5th video I've done in this series following the Tortured Poets department, Red, Speak Now, and 1989. So if you enjoy this type of music analytical content, please leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new. My current goal is to hit 50,000 subscribers, and I would love to have you here for the party when we finally hit that goal. Leave me a comment with your thoughts, suggestions on which Taylor Swift album we should look at next, or tell me one of your favorite lyrics from the album. With that out of the way, let's jump into why The Life of a Showgirl is orange. The color orange holds a wide range of symbolism throughout history. It can denote energetic feelings of enthusiasm, excitement, brightness, joy, or happiness. It's playful and vibrant, often being used to symbolize youthfulness, creativity, luxury, and more. Ancient Egyptians would use orange to paint tombs, derived from realgar, an orange-red arsenic sulfide mineral. It's the national color of the Netherlands, often associated with the Dutch royal family. Orpiment, also an arsenic sulfide mineral, but more orange-yellow, was used by ancient Romans to create the pigment for paint. Vincent van Gogh, for example, was known to frequently use the color orange in his paintings, most famously in his self-portraits. Orpiment was also used in China in select medicines. All of this, of course, before we learned that arsenic was toxic to humans. Before the 15th century, orange didn't have a proper color name and was instead referred to as yellow-red throughout Europe. The Portuguese brought orange trees over from Asia in the late 15th and early 16th centuries, along with the Sanskrit word naranga, which means specifically orange tree. Over time, this transformed into the word orange in English, but stayed only referring to the fruit and its tree. It didn't refer to the actual color and pigment until the late 16th century, when the term yellow-red was finally rebranded as orange in honor of the fruit. This late description change is why people with ginger hair are often referred to as redheads. Redhead actually predates the term orange when referring to the hair color, even though orange is a much more accurate statement for the recessive gene pigment. Many languages have examples of this oddity though, not just in English and not just with the color orange. In Japanese, for example, a green traffic light is referred to as ao shingo, which technically means blue light by today's standards. The term ao historically described the spectrum of colors, including both blue and green, even though now ao by itself typically means blue and midori means green. But if I were to say midori shingo to a native speaker, it would sound a little odd. The same way if I referred to someone with ginger hair in English as an orange head, it sounds a little odd. Languages are funny that way, even if a bit maddening and confusing with modern logic. Now, orange can also be a bit overpowering for some people, inciting a visceral reaction when they see it, meaning you either love it or you hate it. It can be viewed as too bright or overstimulating, symbolically being linked to arrogance and impatience, and can evoke more negative feelings depending on one's own personal association with the color. In other words, in color psychology, orange by itself is genuinely too much for some people. Orange can also be associated with danger and safety. For example, have you ever noticed that things like lifeboats are oftentimes shades of orange? The hue is very easy to spot by the naked eye due to its brightness and energy. So by making lifeboats orange, they can be more easily spotted by rescue helicopters, even in the pitch black of night out at sea. The same goes for traffic cones, in that drivers will be able to safely avoid them because our eyes can pick up on their vibrancy very quickly. Prison jumpsuits, construction worker vests, life jackets, flotation devices, and more are all commonly seen in shades of orange, so that these items are more easily detected no matter what they might be surrounded by. We can see orange symbolism in different forms of media as well, like in TV and film. The opening sunrise in The Lion King is warm and bright to symbolize and foreshadow the themes of familial bonds and self-discovery that the movie goes on to explore. In The Godfather, orange will appear in scenes just before character deaths, indicating danger and violence in the coming scenes. Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender wears a saffron robe because in religions like Buddhism, Jainism, and Hinduism, orange is the color symbolizing the highest state of enlightenment. It also serves to highlight his youthfulness, as the character is a child, creating a strong juxtaposition between the higher power he seeks and his innocence of being a kid. Of course, orange is also heavily associated with the season of autumn. Falling leaves, pumpkins, pumpkin spice lattes, and Halloween as a whole, of course, generally evoke the color orange in our mind's eye, especially in the West. It links to harvest festivals around the world and acts as a contrast to the darker and shorter days, at least in the Northern Hemisphere when the days get shorter. Bonfires, sunrises, sunsets, firelight, all denote orange-inspired autumnal feelings. Speaking of fire, did you know that the reason a flame is commonly seen as orange is because it lacks sufficient access to oxygen? Incomplete combustion of carbon-based fuel like wood, charcoal, or paper, and a lower temperature of the fire itself are typically the main reasons why a flame will appear yellow or orange. Hotter flames burn blue, cooler flames burn yellow or orange, depending on its fuel source. Therefore, if you're trying to get a hotter flame, you need to make sure that the fire has proper ventilation and access to more oxygen so it can achieve a cleaner combustion of its fuel source. Funny enough, while fire can be associated with destruction due to this symbolic combustion process, it can also be commonly associated with things like passion, emotions, and love, something that The Life of a Showgirl goes on to explore throughout its track list. But first, a shout out to this video sponsor, DistroKid. DistroKid is one of the best music distributors online, helping artists like you and me get our music up on platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Tidal, and more. For one small yearly price, you can distribute as much music as you can create without breaking the bank. DistroKid's got 3 membership plans for you to choose from, and depending on which one you decide is right for you, you'll also gain access to a wide library of additional features helping you to grow, promote, and manage your music career. One such fantastic feature is the Spotify Canvas generator. You know those short looping videos that play in the background of certain songs when you're listening to music? Those are Spotify canvases, and you can actually get your own rather quickly thanks to DistroKid's generator. All you have to do is search through a gigantic library of pre-made looping videos that match your vibe and brand. You can adjust the timing to get it right for you, up to 8 seconds, and then download them. Afterward, you can jump over to Spotify for Artists, find your track, and upload them. It's super easy and budget-friendly too. So use my special VIP link to save yourself 7% on your first year's membership with DistroKid. Link is in the description. As we established in my lyric analysis of The Fate of Ophelia, link in the description if you haven't seen it yet. The Life of a Showgirl is primarily a dance pop and synth pop album, co-written and co-produced by Max Martin and Shellback, and is inspired by Taylor's life events behind the scenes of the Eras Tour. In The Fate of Ophelia, the album opener is used to establish the tight pop productions and recurring motif of finding love after a period of heartbreak, and how that makes Taylor feel as the character in her music that will be found throughout the remainder of The Life of a Showgirl. The majority of the record favors these two things above all. It's designed to be a fun, lighthearted record with select messages hidden underneath the pop shimmer if you listen hard enough. If you don't really think about it, it's just easy to consume pop confection. This lyric theme of finding love runs through the body of nearly all of the tracks. In Elizabeth Taylor, she draws comparison to the romantic life of the actual Elizabeth Taylor to show apprehension and desire for a new romantic prospect of her own and how exciting that can be. Opalite is a feel-good anthem about two people in a relationship now and how their previous romantic partners have treated each of them in the past. It's a celebratory, exuberant, moving on type of song. Ruin the Friendship details love that could have been. In Actually Romantic, she satirically states that people who hate you the most must secretly be in love with you with all the attention that they give you. Wishlist specifically states that everyone should be able to have what they want in life, from the trivial to the extravagant if it makes them happy, but the protagonist just wants the person that they're truly in love with, because that's what makes them happy. If other people want that too, they should have it. If they don't, then that's okay too. Would Well, I think we all know what that one's about loving. Of course, honey is also a vulnerable moment, appreciating that someone is treating you so kindly for what feels like the very first time. The album reflects themes of passion and love to hopefully leave the listener rather happy by the ending. Every song is built on tight pop productions and instrumentations to showcase and highlight this lyrical theme. The main album artwork for The Life of a Showgirl features Taylor laying in water with kaleidoscopic glass shards breaking up the image. There's orange glittery text spelling out the album title. Taylor appears in a revealing bejeweled outfit, seemingly relaxed and mysterious. You'll notice, however, if we look a little further, that there's another main color taking over most of the cover art, mint green. Mint green is a tranquil color, often denoting feelings of calmness, renewal, and growth. Like fellow cool tones blue and purple, mint green is associated with serenity. Warm tones like red, orange, and yellow evoke feelings of energy and happiness. The combination of orange and mint green is used to sort of create a sense of calm in the chaos. Remember, orange can be quite overstimulating for some people, so the color is selectively reserved for the title of the album, which complements Taylor's skin tone in this photo, whereas mint green acts passively in the background to the eye to subdue part of this chaotic energy. Think of the orange title text as the showgirl itself being vivacious on stage and in your face, while the mint green is the calm and everything happening behind the scenes, which is exactly how Taylor Swift described this album on New Heights, stating that this album was everything going on in her life behind the scenes of the Eras Tour, and this message is echoed through the color choices in the main album cover art. The orange sparkly buoyancy has a little bit of darkness to create more of an ombre, but overall it's bright and easy to see, but it's the serenity of its mint green surroundings and Taylor in the center of the cover art that creates a balance of all of these elements so that our eyes can perceive everything without being too overwhelmed. This type of balance is reflected in many of the songs as well. Elizabeth Taylor and Cancelled are constructed on simplistic verses with larger than life, please Taylor perform me in a stadium one day type of choruses that grab your attention. Opalite has a sky-high happy chorus that sends you into the stratosphere with each passing refrain. The title track goes back and forth from larger than life to small and detailed, especially in the bridge, where the background instrumentation drops significantly. The record changes from pop bangers to mid-tempo bops as you travel through each track. If the listener was paying attention, they should feel like they started backstage, detailing the moments of meeting the love of your life that's actually treating you well, and then progresses to deal with the ups and downs of fame and this new romance, ultimately exiting the album in the title track, feeling like they are on stage waving to the audience themselves. It's passionate, happy, energetic, and fun, which are all emotions and feelings that orange symbolizes. You can argue that the title of an album is the album's main character, and that's why the text on this album artwork is the color orange and not the background color. Orange is the star of the show. So then, why the heck does Taylor and Taylor Nation use the fire heart emoji when referring to the life of a showgirl when the orange heart is right there begging to be used? For those of you who might not be aware, each of Taylor Swift's albums has a specific designated color attached to it, usually denoted from a specific color found on the album artwork, which is part of what this series is all about. Self-titled is green from the top half of the cover art and representative of its natural setting in the photo shoot. Fearless is yellow, found on the background of its cover art. Speak Now is purple, like its title text. Red is red for obvious reasons. 1989 is aquamarine / light blue, from her famous seagull shirt, and New York City on the water setting. The black for Reputation comes from its newspaper print style artwork. Lover is pink for its background sunset colors, and also its title. Gray for the grayscale of Folklore, and the fact that black was already used for Reputation. Brown comes from the fall and winter setting of Evermore. Midnights is a dark blue to distinguish itself from 1989, and also its title color. The Tortured Poets department is white for its main cover art's surrounding border. Fans, of course, will debate these colors ad nauseum, but the fact is, that's what's been chosen and used in Taylor's marketing for many years now. But that still doesn't answer why Taylor doesn't use the orange heart emoji for The Life of a Showgirl. As we've established, there is an orange heart emoji after all. Well, remember how I said fire can symbolize passion, warm emotions, and love? Those are all things that orange symbolizes as well. The fire heart emoji is a compound emoticon comprised of an orange-yellow flame and a red heart, sometimes referred to as the burning heart emoji. When Taylor Nation first tweeted on August 11th, thinking about when she said, "See you next era," the accompanying pictures of Taylor were all of her wearing orange outfits on the Eras tour, with the first picture being the 1989 two-piece ombre skirt and top. And they used the fire heart emoji specifically. 1989 being one of the albums produced by Max Martin and Shellback, who co-wrote and co-produced The Life of a Showgirl. Orange foreshadowing the exhilarating emotions and productions on the album, the euphoric pop confections with hooks so catchy you can't get them out of your head. Fire is passion. Orange is happiness. Put them together and you've got the intended level of excitement Taylor and her team wanted going into this album era. The cool tones and complementary warm tones of orange are expressed through the album's variant editions to show us that this album will have ups and downs as well, mimicking the ups and downs Taylor experienced while performing on the highest grossing tour of all time. Even the terminology of the deluxe edition titles are supposed to mimic this heightened sense of emotion. The Life of a Showgirl is rapturous, beautiful, and even frightening because orange can also symbolize danger. So can fire. Orange by itself doesn't always spark joy for some people. This album's color symbolism is reflected in the fire heart emoji more accurately instead of the plain orange heart, because both things are working together to communicate to the listener that this album was created during a wild time in Taylor's life and career, finding love, touring the world, being praised, being ridiculed. The album's content and marketing encompasses this intense, fiery moment in Taylor's life. If Taylor had used the regular orange heart emoji, while for some people it would have been appropriate, it would be missing some of that nuanced symbolism of passion and mystery. It would mostly just be expected given process of elimination, given all of the heart emojis we have and the ones that Taylor hasn't used. Taylor doesn't like doing what people expect her to though. If she can surprise fans, she will. Something we all should have learned on the Eras tour during the surprise song sets, or album announcements, or guest stars. Orange by itself can put some people off and incite the wrong emotions that this album doesn't reflect. The Life of a Showgirl's designated color is orange, but relies on the fire heart emoji to communicate this exuberant state of emotions that Taylor experienced on the Eras tour when she wrote it. The passionate symbolism of love, calmness, excitement, danger, and elation is effectively balanced in this album's cover art, variants, and yes, designated emoji, because it combines that symbolism with the album's lyrics, music, and productions. At times, the songs are chaotic and messy. Other times, they're sweet, flirty, and sexy. Merging with cooler tones like mint green to communicate this subliminal messaging, orange is used sparingly to avoid overwhelming the viewer or listener, but is still prominent enough to draw them into what the mystery of The Life of a Showgirl feels like to Taylor Swift as the character in her music off stage, behind the curtain before you've even listened to a note. Orange is associated with autumn, which is why the album comes out in October, the month of Halloween in autumn, the month that orange is most associated with. This fervor and level of thought is why the fire heart emoji is far more suitable to describe this album than the regular orange heart. It's intense, enthusiastic, emotional, and mysterious, just like the album it symbolizes.